Hello friends, and welcome to my channel. Today's video build will be about the small and agile jet fighter, the Northrop F-5E Tiger II. Lots of you asked me when I will build it. Well, I'm still working on two difficult projects right now, and as a promise, I will build this model just for fun and relax. I did a short review about this kit lately, so in a shortcut, let's talk about it. Molds on this model are quite decent. There are some visible imperfections, but compared to the price of this kit, it's acceptable. Some parts are nicely detailed, some less. I will definitely upgrade some of them. The clear parts are clean and without burrs. It contains only the cockpit canopy and landing legs. The waterslide decals are for 4 aircraft: an American Navy, Marines, a Brazilian and a Swiss aircraft. This will be fun to build. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell for not missing any new notifications. Okay, let's start with the build. First, let's build the cockpit. I began with the assembly of the ejection seat. It includes only 3 parts and doesn't have any more details. I will create some details from scratch. The seat belts are made from Italian masking tape and photo edge metal leftovers. I like to work with this tape. The tape itself is sticky, but to hold it properly, I glued it with superglue. The buckles are made from very thin metal tape. These parts are very small, at least 3 mm long. And I will add some lead wires for imitating cables and metal parts for more smaller details. The cockpit top and interior also needs to have some details. I created the throttle lever from a thin plastic stick and some more small details from masking tape, metal parts, lead and copper wires. To unify all parts of the cockpit surface, I add a layer of Surface 1000. The cockpit top, ejection seat and instrument panel are painted with Mistocolor C73 Grey. The avionics panel is painted black, and also all the small indicators on the instrument panel. In the kit's decal sheet are also available decals for the cockpit, but I choose to paint it by hand. For adding some artificial shades, I dry brush the cockpit with a dark grey and metallic color. Now I seal the paint job with a layer of glossy varnish coat, and after it's dried up, I apply washes. For the black instrument panels, I use a light grey panaline wash, and for the grey cockpit parts, a black wash. To remove the excessive wash, I use a toothpick or a cotton swab soaked in an odorless amino thinner from Mick Jimenez. Next, I assemble the cockpit together. It looks quite good, but I think I will add some remove before flight banners that I made from masking tape. The cockpit fit is a little bit low in the fuselage. I hope the overall effect will be good. It looks a little bit drawn for my taste. The next step is the fuselage, horizontal and vertical stabilizers assembly and the main wings assembly. I had a little problem with the fit of the air intakes. The molds are a bit wide. I had to reduce some plastic from the fuselage. Another major fit problem are the main wings. There is a huge visible gap over the whole length of the wing. The only solution is to fill it up with lots of putty. The channels for the 20mm cannons were too shallow. I had to drill them out with a hand drill. After that, the fit was fine. Next, I fill all the gaps and imperfections that Mr. White putty are. For such a small model, I used a lot of putty, but it was necessary. The putty has a 5-hour drying time. Meanwhile, I added 0.3mm light wires for imitating hydraulics of the main landing gear. I also assembled all 3 fuel tanks, both AIM-9B Sidewinder air-to-air missiles and Mark 82 bombs. I'm impressed how many weapons this small plane can carry. I decided to arm it to the teeth. In some places, the putty fell out. I had to repeat the filling and sanding process a couple of times. The model is slowly getting ready for the paint job. Before that, I masked the cockpit canopy with masking tape and add a layer of liquid mask. To unify the model surface, I add a layer of Mr. Surface 1000. It also serves as a primer coat. To highlight all panels and shades, I use a pre-shading technique. I stay a bit longer with the black paint and paint all the small details like the radar cone and wheels. Before painting of the camouflage, I masked the radar cone with masking tape. I like the sandy yellow-brown camouflage the most. The machine in this camouflage belongs to the American Navy's VFC-13 Fighting Saints Aggressor Squadron. For the camouflage, I will use Mr. Color C39 Sandy Yellow, C43 Wood Brown, and C44 Tan. The C39 Sandy Yellow paint has a denser pigment. It needs to be much more diluted. On the other hand, the C44 Tan and C43 Wood Brown have a thinner pigment. Now I want to paint the jet engine exhaust nozzles and wheel wells. To not overpaint it with metallic color, I masked the camouflage with masking tape. When I'm in the whole painting process, I also paint the landing gear legs, external hardpoints, fuel tanks, and the Mark 82 bombs and AIM-9B Sidewinder missiles. For me, the painting process is always the most enjoyable and at the same time the most exhausting work procedure. Finally, I can amass the masking tape and focus on painting the small details. After all the small details are painted, I seal the model's paint job and all the parts with a glossy varnish coat. Next is the decals applying. The Hobbyboss Overslide decals are very good. They are strong, do not tear, and are easy to apply. For a perfect adaptation to the surface, I apply the Revel's Decal Softener chemical. During the application, the decal softens after a few seconds and can be formed to the desired shape of the model surface with a wet cotton swab. The decals are applied, so I seal them with a second layer of glossy varnish coat. Now for the weathering. First, I apply a black wash for highlighting all panel lines and shades. The wash dries very quickly, so it's very easy to remove it with a wet cotton swab and ammonia thinner. For weathering, I use lamp black and burnt umber oil paints and dry pigments. I usually imitate hydraulic oil leaks and dirt. The weathering is complete. Now I can apply the final layer of varnish. In this model, it's a mix of glossy and matte varnish from Mr. Color. Before the assembly, I carefully remove the masking tape and liquid mask with a toothpick and tweezers. The final assembly was very quick. First, I glue the main landing gear and the landing gear covers. For gluing all parts, I use super glue. It's much faster than ordinary model glue. Second, I glue the wings hardpoints and the center fuel tank and wing fuel tanks. I had a little bit of problem here. The hardpoints did not fit. I had to cut a little to adjust the pegs. And third, I glued the Mark 82 high explosive bombs and AIM-9B Sidewinder air-to-air missiles. At the very end, I glued the cockpit canopy with superglue. Alright, the Hobbyboss 1:72 scale Northrop F5E Tiger II is finished. This build was very fast. Despite the fact that the model belongs to the simpler and cheaper ones, I must honestly say that I enjoyed the building, I was relaxed, and especially it was a lot of fun. I'm currently working on several projects that are difficult and stressing, so I think that everyone deserves a little relaxation. I hope you liked this video. Please subscribe to my channel, like, or leave a comment down below. If you are interested to see more of my work, join me on Facebook or Instagram. There's a link in the description. Thank you for watching, see you next time, and this is the final reveal.